This is the monument to the men who died in the First World War from Brooklyn's 8th District. This monument was erected in 1921. It was designed by artist Eugene Moran, and it was dedicated to the men who died in the Great War or the World War. Because in 1921, no one in their right mind thought that there would be another World War even bigger and deadlier than the First World War. If you look at history, however, you can point to the Queen Anne's War, the 7 Years' War, we call that the French and Indian War in the United States, the War of American Independence, the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars were all in many ways really world wars. We don't talk a lot about the First World War in the United States, which is interesting because the largest battle the United States has ever fought, the Muse-Argonne Offensive from September 25th to November 11th, 1918, will have 1.2 million American soldiers and Marines fighting. It will cost 120,000 casualties, including 26,000 dead. The first Americans to see combat in the First World War were men of a unit now known as the Harlem Hellfighters. African Americans raised in Harlem, New York. They will go to war. They will participate actually as part of the French Army. They will win medals of honor and accolades from the French and from the United States, although it might take a little bit longer because, you know, racism. In fact, it will take 92 years for Sergeant Henry Johnson to posthumously receive a Medal of Honor for his actions on May 14th, 1918. Upon returning to the United States, former President Theodore Roosevelt will say he was one of the bravest men Americans to fight in the war. Despite being wounded in combat, he does not receive a Purple Heart and does not receive a pension after the war. There's also 5,500 men who die in the Navy, and of that, only 500 were battle casualties. 5,000 deaths were attributed to influenza, which breaks out in the Army, breaks out in all armies on the Western Front, and affects 24,000 American servicemen. But this beautiful monument is to the idea that maybe that was the end of it. The war to end all wars really would be the war to end all wars. But beautiful monuments like this to those who served and those who died are all over the United States. And I think we should pay a little bit of attention to that, probably the same way we should pay attention to the veterans of the Korean War. Anyway, sorry about the sirens, and I'll see you here soon.